find the measure of the side of the right triangle whose length is designated by a lowercase letter. Round answer to the nearest whole number. In other words, we have been asked to find side A. In our previous problems, we've been given two sides and we've been asked to find a third side. But we don't have two sides, so we cannot use the Pythagorean theorem. So we will use one of our trig functions to help us determine the length of the side A. Now, I see that I have an angle, and I see that I need a side, and I have a given side. So what I want to think about is what trig function involves a side opposite of an angle and a side adjacent to an angle. Which trig function involves adjacent and opposite? That is tangent. Tangent of 37 degrees equals to opposite over adjacent. Remember, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So therefore, tangent of 37 degrees is equal to opposite, which is my A, over my adjacent side, which is 250. Now, we have a proportion that we can solve now. So we will cross multiply. I have tangent of 37 degrees times 250, if you cross multiply here, is equal to 1 times A is A. And A is what we're trying to find. So now A is equal to the tangent of 37 times 250. So what we will need to do is make sure that your mode on your calculator is degrees, because tangent of 37 is in degrees. So I'm in degrees now. Tangent of 37 times 250. If I say tangent of 37 times 250, and if I round it to the nearest whole number, I have A is equal to 188. If I round it to the nearest whole number, that's what my question says, round to the nearest whole number, I have 188.38, so forth on. If it is 0.5, it would round up to 189. But if it's 4 or less, it stays 188. So the answer to my problem is A equals to 188. So we use our trig functions. We use the angle given in its relationship to the two sides. We did not have the hypotenuse, therefore we could not use sine or cosine because both of those involve the hypotenuse. So we had to use tangent. Tangent of 37 is opposite over adjacent. And then we have a proportion that you can cross multiply. So when I cross multiply, I have tangent of 37 times 250 equals A, and I use my calculator. All right, let's work another problem just like that. Let's look at this problem here. I'm trying to find B. Now, let's look at the relationship with this angle and the two sides that I have. I have an angle of 34 degrees. I have a side B. That side B is adjacent. And I have the hypotenuse. So what trig function involves adjacent and hypotenuse? Well, that is going to be cosine of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we're going to use cosine. So cosine of 34 degrees equals to the adjacent side B over the hypotenuse, which is 220. I have a proportion. Let's cross multiply. That is cosine of 34 degrees times 220 equals to B. Again, I'm in degrees, so make sure that you have your calculator in degrees. And you're going to have cosine of 34 degrees times 220. Therefore, B is equal to, let's write it the nearest whole number, 182.3. If that was 0.5 or up, we would go up to 183, but our answer is 182. So B is equal to 182 in this problem.